Hi friends, in our previous video we have studied already life process some part. In this life process we have already studied the autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic is the plants, example for the plants which are preparing their food their own, and heterotrophic means which animals or other organisms which depend their foods for their foods on other organisms is called heterotrophic. So in heterotrophic we have studied already again three examples. Those are three types of mode of nutrition in heterotrophic. Those examples are first saprotrophic nutrition, which are the organisms which depend on the dead animals and dead tissues. Those are called saprotrophic. And next, parasitic nutrition, which the organisms depend on the other organisms which are already alive, and they are taking food from alive organisms and they are hurting those organisms. Those type of organisms which are depend on other living organisms, those are called parasitic nutrition animals and organisms. And holozoic nutrition, the third one, is the organisms which take food from atmosphere as a complicated food, and they digest those complicated food into simplification. They simplified that food and digest that food. That type of organisms we are calling it as holozoic organisms. So friends, these are the mode of nutrition of the organisms, and this mode of nutrition we have already studied the autotrophic nutrition, that is plants. Nutrition in plants we have studied. In that nutrition we have studied already how the water is transferred from earth to leaf of the plant, and how they are absorbing the light from sunlight from the atmosphere, and how they are absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and how they synthesize their food by photosynthesis, and how they are releasing oxygen and water vapors to the atmosphere, and how they are preparing glucose by photosynthesis, and how the glucose is converted into starch and where it is stored in the animal plants. These all things we have studied already, friends. Now the next part of this topic is nutrition in animals. Simple. Nutrition in animals. Nutrition in plants we have studied. Now we are going to study nutrition in animals. Okay friends. So in nutrition in animals, if you have taken the concept, here the nutrition is three types in animals. For example, here herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous, we are dividing animals according to the type of food they are taking. What type the animals they are taking food, on that basis we are dividing three types. Let us study what are those three types. First one is herbivorous. The name itself, it is saying that herbivorous means herbal. The animals which eat herbals means vegetarians. Vegetarians are herbivorous. The definition is the animals which eat only plants are called herbivorous. Simple. Vegetarian animals are herbivorous, which are eating only plants, vegetables. Those are plants and plants products. Food, fruit. Other things all are plant originated foods. So in simple, it is vegetarian animals or herbivorous. Next, carnivorous, the animals which eat only other animals, not vegetarian. They are not vegetarian, they are purely non-vegetarian, means tiger. For example, it is a tiger which eats only animals not the plants. This type of animals, we are calling them as carnivorous. They are eating only other animals. And next, omnivorous, the animals which eat plant and animal both. For example, dog, cat, man, human being. These are all omnivorous because they eat vegetarian. They may be vegetarian, also they may be non-vegetarian, also both, which are eating some human beings are eating vegetarians, some human beings are vegetarians, and some human beings are both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. But in animals, dog, cat, those are also eating both. So, which are eating both vegetarian and not non-vegetarian, those type of animals we are taking them as omnivorous. Okay friends, remember it. Herbivorous means, its name itself is saying that herbivorous means herbal eating animals, vegetarian animals. And carnivorous means only one, corny means only one, which are eating one type, man, means that is non-vegetarian animals are carnivorous. And omnivorous, omni means both, omni means both, which both means animals, non-veg and veg, both eating animals are omnivorous. So next, so see here friends, in our atmosphere, our food is balanced. It is just like a circle friends. The food taken from, how they are taking from and how they are balancing themselves in the atmosphere, that is here friends. See here, from sun we are taking food all, means our food is originally secured by sun, which is given by sun. How it is here? In vegetarian plants we are eating, those plants are preparing food from sunlight. Okay. If they are carnivorous, means only non-vegetarian, they are eating other animals, they are originally depend their food from sun only, because they are eating other animals. Those other animals are again depend on plants. That plant is depend on sunlight. So that sunlight is necessary for carnivorous also. If you have taken omnivorous, in there also plant and animals again they are depend on sun. So omnivorous are also depend on sun for their food. So sun is original source for the to the food for all animals. So from sun we are taking food from food is prepared by plant. By taking sunlight, plants are preparing their food first. The starting in circle, that is in chain, that is starting, that plants are eaten by the omnivorous and also herbivorous. Omnivorous and herbivorous both are eating plants. Means these two are depend on the plant, which is depend on the sunlight. Okay. Next, the carnivorous is depend on herbivorous or other animal. So this is also depend on sun for their food, because it is the original source for food, which is necessary for omnivorous and herbivorous, and those herbivorous are necessary for omnivorous. So this is the chain who the food is balancing on the atmosphere. Next friends, here difference step in process of nutrition in animals. So we are coming to the point here, we are studying nutrition in animals. In plants, how they are preparing their food, we have studied. In here, we are going to study how the animals are taking food and how they are taking, how they are nutrition, how the process is going in the animals, nutrition process is going in the animals. So first, there are step, friends. In animals, step by step it is digesting, because we have studied most of the animals are taking the complicated food from the atmosphere and they are converting that complicated food into simplified mode, and those simplified mode is in that mode which is absorbed by water, because our blood is water. So which is absorbed by water, those type we are converting the food, that type mode of nutrition is there in the animals. So for that, systematic steps are there in the animals. So those steps are, first one is ignition, second one is digestion and absorption, assimilation and egation. These are the steps in the animals. Let us study the details about the steps. Egation means taking the complicated food from the atmosphere into the internal of the animals, means they are taking food. First step is egation. In the mouth, all the animals, they are taking food in the mouth. So egation, the process of taking food into the body from the atmosphere, we are taking in the body, this is egation. So next step is, if the egation is completed, they are taking food internally, internal to the body. We are taking food from outside in the body. Then next step is digestion. That food should be digested in our body. So for that, in the mouth only the digestion process is started, friends. When you are taking food, what you are going to do there? We start chewing the foods. Means we start to make it small pieces as possible, as how much it is possible, that much we are making that food into small pieces. All animals, not only human being, all the animals, you observe that first they are chewing the food. So digestion starts from mouth also. And next, the process, the definition of digestion is the process in which large insoluble food molecule is broken down into small and water soluble molecule. So this is, friends, large insoluble molecules which is not soluble in water. Means for example, starch, it is not soluble in water. Even also the other animals which are eaten by the omnivores, those are also not dissolving in water. So those type of insoluble food, insoluble means which is not soluble in water, that type food molecule is broken down into small and water soluble. First, in our mouth, we are converting it into small pieces. Then it goes, see here, friends, when we are taking, this is egation, we are taking in mouth, the outside food we are taking in the mouth, it is egation. When the egation we have taken, the digestion we starts, here we are chewing, and that pieces goes into the intestine. Here it will be digested by all these organisms which are there in our abdominal portion. So these organs digest the food, means when it is making, when it is made a small pieces, that pieces goes into the intestine. There it make again some small pieces, and with the and in the intestine they are making, they are converting into soluble molecules. In water they are soluble. That type of molecules means starch converted into glucose. So that glucose is complicated to simplified form. So that type of changing method we are calling it as digestion. Next friends, absorption. So digested food should be absorbed by the blood. So when the food is in the intestine first, blood is outside the intestine. So food is here, which is inside the intestine. This intestine food should be absorbed by the blood. So between these two, there is a layer which is the layer of the intestine. So food should be absorbed by the layer of the intestine first. This absorption is must. Intestine outline layer should be absorbed the converted food from the inside of the intestine. So let us study the definition of absorption, the process in which digested food passes through the intestine wall into blood system. See friends, intestine, from the intestine wall, the inside digested food should be absorbed by the intestine wall and it should be given to the blood which is outside the intestine. So this process, absorbed by the intestine wall, the digested food, this process we are calling it as absorption. Next, assimilation, the process in which absorbed food is taken in body cells and used for energy and biosynthesis. So see here friends, when it's absorbed by the layer and it gives to the blood, when blood absorbed the digested food, because it is soluble now, soluble food, it is absorbed by the blood and this blood will be transferred throughout the body through the blood, because blood is circulating throughout the body. When it is circulating throughout the body, the food which is absorbed by the blood is supplying to all our cells. So these cells are taking food from the blood. This process we are calling it as assimilation. Assimilation, actually the meaning is taking. Assimilation means taking, absorbing. So they are taking food from the blood. And egestion, when the cells absorb the food, they have to reject the waste particle in the food or extra particle in the food. That food is rejected from the cells and it goes out from the body. This all process which is extracting the waste materials from the food, that is called egestion. See friends, how the systematic methods are there in our body. They are the organisms which are in our body, they are making their own work regularly. So this type of the digestion method is there in animals. So this type of nutrition we are calling it as nutrition in animals. Animals, this type of nutrition is there friends. Okay. So now it is clear, when the inorganic materials from the outside, animals from plants taking that inorganic materials, they are converting them into organic materials which is starch, and those starch is eaten by other animals, and those animals and starch, plant starch, are taken by omnivorous, carnivorous and herbivorous, which are digested in their animals. That digestion method is first egestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, next excretion. So this type of method which goes on in the animals, we are calling it as the nutrition in animals. Okay friends, next we are going to study in our next video the details of animals they are having the different type of nutrition methods according to their body structure. So those things we are going to study in our next video, friends. Bye. Thank you.